Hello, we're looking at carrying out endpoint assessments for apprenticeships in Mahara. To get to Mahara, first log into York St John Moodle. Then in the Services menu, you can go to Mahara ePortfolio. You need to go to your section, which is the Create section. So either by the button on the front page or in the menu, you can go to Create and then Pages and Collections. There's a template for the endpoint assessment. To get that, you need to go to Copy and then search for EPA. The main generic template is the EPA template. However, for specific other endpoint assessments such as data science, you may need to get a different template. Have a look on your Moodle course or consult your work-based learning tutor to make sure you're on the right template. This appears to bring back a lot of options, but they're all pages within this one collection. So by copying this collection at the top, we're going to copy all those pages in one go and make our own endpoint assessment document. You can change the name. This is the name of the whole collection of pages. I'm just going to put my initials on the start there, just to make sure I know which one I'm on. Leave all the other bits alone and go next. So here, pages already in the collection are listed on the right hand side here. We're going to leave them alone for now. We may come back here later to remove any excess pages. We're going to go next. We'll come back to this edit access screen later as well to get a URL for sharing. But let's get into the actual editing process. So we're in a 17-page collection. You can see from the navigation at the top right here, there's basically an introductory page and then 16 pages for your evidence. You may not need them all. There's just more than you'll need, so you can get rid of any ones you don't want later on. So this introductory page, we're currently in viewing mode. In Mahara, to edit this page, we're going to need to go into edit mode with the pencil at the top right. You can see this page has a mixture of PDF documents like the one at the top here. There are a few text boxes, and all of the elements on this page are optional, and it does depend on the course you're on and the exact requirements of that and your personal attitude to how you want to present yourself. So if you wanted to totally get rid of a block, we can delete it with the bin. If we want to edit a block, we can do so with the pencil. When we go and edit a PDF document, we can change the title. The file, the actual PDF file, is attached using this grey bar here. If I open that up, I've got my Mahara filing system. That is the current document that's attached. If I want to upload a new document, I can use so with this section. If I had already uploaded it, the whole of my Mahara filing system is below. The most likely thing you're going to do is to be replacing the document with a new copy from your own filing system. So I tick the big box that says yes, I will choose the file, and I'll go and look at my own computer filing system and find the document that I want to get. When I save that block, the PDF document is replaced by the new one. Now most likely you're going to take a Word document from your Moodle course to fill it in to make, for instance, your evidence locator, and that will probably be the last thing you do out of all of this, but the mechanism will be the same throughout. We'll have a little look at a text box here. If I edit a text box, again I have a title, and again I've got a space to paste in or type text. We recommend preparing any text in another document, such as a Word document. Mahara does occasionally reject text and delete it, and so it's good to have it in another place. If you have issues attaching text, then just put it into a PDF document and attach it like above. And I'll go through how to add fresh documents when we get onto the evidence section. If I save that, There we go, there's the new text box there. All these other PDFs, again, are optional, and you can replace them with your own PDF document that you've made, probably from Word or wherever. Or, if it's not relevant to you, just delete them. Okay. If we finish with that page, or we want to just work on another page, we're going to need to go back to viewing mode, which is the little television display, and then navigate to a new page. And again, this is evidence bundle 1. These are just a couple of suggested items you might put on a page. They are not mandatory at all. If we go to the next page, it's totally blank. And so it's up to you to build up your evidence bundles and make them make sense, and to make them work for your particular endpoint assessment. I'll go to a blank page here, and let me just edit that to show you how to add new material. New material is added to the page using the plus button at the top here. I tend to go for just add and not worry about where it's located, because it's easier to move them once they're on the page. I'm just going to show you all the Mahara blocks, and out of all of these, the most likely ones you're going to use are PDFs, maybe a text block for a quick kind of reflection or introduction or something like that. You might have some images, so pictures to put in there. Might have some other files to download. Very, very short video and audio clips can be added with embedded media. But anything longer or external, such as a YouTube video or another website, can be added through the external media block. So let me go for a PDF. Again, exactly the same process as when we replace one on the front page. If it's a new file, I'm going to be ticking the box, say yes, choosing the file, locating it within my own filing system. And when I save that, that's going to go onto the page. If I do the same for a text box, add in a text box. Save that box, and there it is on the page. Just for quick examples, an image, very similar to a PDF file. So you're going to go onto there, tick the box and choose the file. Again, looking at your own filing system, finding the right file and changing the name at the top. And when you save that, there's the picture there. That's appeared slightly weirdly. So when you've got some things on the page, you can obviously lay things out. So we can make it so we can actually see that picture. There we go. You can move elements about, but they can't overlap. So they do fly about a bit. So that can take a bit of getting used to. With PDFs, I would strongly recommend making them quite a bit wider, so that you can read them without having to zoom in. There are tools to zoom in, but they don't stick, so whoever's reading the page would need to use those. However, if you make the PDFs nice and wide to start with, they can just scroll down the file really easily to see what's in there. There we go, let's just tidy this up a bit. And editing a block, I've forgotten to give this file a name. I can just go back in, edit that block again, and give it a name. There's no page save function. Every time you save a block, the whole page is saved. So there's no explicit save here. If I want to go and manipulate another page, back to display mode, get onto the next page, back into edit mode, and so on and so forth. If I want to change the title of the whole page, if I'm on a page here, instead of it being called Evidence Bundle 2, I can go on the cogs here on the same panel on the right, and that's going to let me either make a title or a subtitle for my particular page. Save that, and that's changed the page name up there. In terms of the other blocks I mentioned, the files to download block I would only recommend you to use if you have a file that needs to be in its native format. For everything else, PDF is the best way to go. It lets you view the file. However, if you needed a working Excel sheet that's in Excel format because you wanted to demonstrate that, files to download would be the appropriate thing to use there, because that would actually add it on as a file link, and when the viewer clicks on it, it'll download it and they can open it up in Excel or whatever's appropriate to that program. And as I said, most of the rest of these you're going to ignore. They're all just parts of the Mahara system. If you wanted to bring something in from outside, external media, we've got help on our website as to how to do that, and you'll find that in your Moodle course. So at some point, and you don't need to wait until you've finished before you've done this, you can get a URL to link to this whole collection. So it doesn't matter which page you're on. If you go to the little lock symbol, EPAs tend to be shared with secret URLs. So you literally click the new secret URL button. That gives you an individual URL. You can copy that, email that onto your work-based learning tutor, and when the time is right, they can send that on to the assessor, which allows them to view your endpoint assessment. So you can do that at any point, because that isn't going to change. That's going to give access to the whole current endpoint assessment on your system. So to get back to your work later on, if you log back into Mahara later on, if I click on the logo top left here, it's like I've just logged in. You can click on the Create button, and that will get you back to all of your things. The most likely thing is going to be in the top left, which is the 17-page document we've just been working on. And if you aren't on that home page, Pages and Collections takes you to exactly the same place. In terms of manipulating the whole of your endpoint assessment collection, you've got a couple of options down here. Edit will let you change the title, the main page name up there. And I could do that and save. And then the other option there, Manage, will let you manage the pages. Now you can change the order of the pages using the up and down arrows. You can remove a page from the collection. That won't actually delete the page. It will take it out of the EPA collection that you're kind of linking to. So if you wanted to, you could tidy up at the end and just remove the spare pages. And if I go back to my filing system, my main create section now, you'll see there's the page I've removed. It hasn't been deleted, but there's my now a 16-page collection to submit for my endpoint assessment.
More help is available from Digital Training. Send us an email, book a tutorial session, or see the help pages on our website.